Good afternoon for those of you that are tuning in today. Thanks for joining me. As you all know, most of you are clients, so I don't think I need to go through who Farringdon are. What we want to do today is run through a new discretionary portfolio management solution. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to briefly start off by running through why we've looked to set this up. Then I'll run through how you actually get signed up on this new service, followed by the safety and the way the investments work. So with regards to the first point, we've just got a disclaimer that any investment that you go into, you should always consult a professional for tax. And obviously all crypto investments, they are high risk. So we're not going to try and say this is a low risk, steady return investment. It is higher risk. But it is an asset class that we've been looking to get into over a number of years. So the main reason that Farringdon have decided to enter this asset class, we weren't too quick initially to jump on board. Crypto has been pretty much up and running just over a decade now. And initially when we first started out, it wasn't regulated. Obviously regulators have now started to put some rules and regulations in place for crypto investments. And over the last, I'd say 5 or 6 years now, we've had a lot of questions from clients with regards to, have we got an offer in? Would we suggest that people invest into crypto elsewhere, as opposed to obviously going through what we do? And then over the last couple of years, one of our partners, Anna, she decided to have a look at building a crypto service. Now, before we get into the ins and outs of it, I want to run through the main areas that we deduce that people don't go into crypto. So one of the first areas is just simple lack of knowledge and understanding. I myself, if you asked me around crypto 10 years ago, I knew relatively little about it. Over the last sort of 3-4 years, we've really been looking more through the documents and going through with a fine-tooth comb on what crypto investments and coins are. So that's one of the main areas, I think, just a lack of understanding of that actual asset class. Obviously, there's more in detail. Most of you guys that are tuning in today, you understand that when you invest through a fund, most of you understand there's an ISIN code, there's fees on a fund, etc., etc. And when you look at going into an investment, people understand the basics of a stock, a share, a fund, a bond. A lot of people don't understand that when you're looking to buy into crypto coin, you first need to convert your fiat currency, you need to open a wallet, you then need to go onto the crypto exchanges, and it can get a bit more complicated than simply plumbing in an ISIN code or a stock ticker and actually buying that product. You've then got the problem of executing the sell and then converting all of that back to actual fiat currency. So this is another area where we think that a lot of people don't enter the crypto market. Volatility. There's nothing we can really do around the volatility of the markets. They do move quite significantly up and down. What we'll show you through this presentation is the way that we've mitigated some of that volatility. But we need to have a look at this. It is a higher risk investment. Crypto over the last few weeks has moved over 20%. It's these type of swings are pretty regular, but the returns can also be astronomical as well. So it is something that you should look at investing into if it's disposable cash. Do not put this in if you're expecting to buy a house with this in the next 3 to 6 months. It's not that type of investment. Don't get me wrong. It could work. You could go in and you could make 20, 30, 40% in a short amount of time, but I wouldn't risk anything unless you're willing to leave it in there in case there is some significant volatility. Lack of time to research. So this is sort of similar to point one. So lack of time to research, lack of knowledge and understanding. A lot of people are too busy at the moment to go into a new asset class. Obviously, all the other types of asset classes from stocks, bonds, we've all grown up with them. So you've sort of been drip fed information on these over the last few decades. Crypto's so new that a lot of people have only recently started to look into this as an asset class. The next one's quite important. Like, how do you know the coin is legitimate? How do you know that if it's an ICO coin or it's one of the smaller coins or the altcoins or whatever it's called? there is potential that if you haven't done your due diligence on it, it might be one of those coins that could collapse. It might not be something that you would look into, and you might have jumped on the bandwagon and sort of the gravy train because you've heard good stuff online about it. Now, a lot of the time there's false information put out on specific coins. What we've tried to do is only stick with the larger coins. Is crypto here to stay? We wouldn't be doing this if we didn't think so. I think with the way the industry's gone over the past few years, we've certainly seen traction with regards to regulators regulating this type of thing, and we've also seen court cases show that judges are now consider this as a currency. So it's another area where people are concerned. The final one is obviously how do you sell your coins and realize returns? Again, it's a complicated structure. It's not like a normal investment. Okay, so let's answer all these questions the best I can, and I'll run through what the system does to alleviate some if not all of these problems. So the lack of knowledge and understanding. Now, this system is run with a crypto investment manager. Raul, who I'll give you a bit of a profile on the next slide, he's been handling high net worth and ultra high net worth client money in the crypto markets for a number of years, I think 5 or 6 years now. He's worked as a crypto trader for a number of the private banks. He's got a very good following online, and he's a very experienced individual. So with regards to the lack of knowledge and understanding, just like you would invest, or we invest into a fund manager, we trust in the fund manager with our money. This is exactly the same thing. We're trusting someone with a lot more experience than the average guy on the street. Okay, the next one, not understanding how safe the data or the coins and how are they stored. Do I need a pen drive? The platform removes this. So the minimum investment is $5,000. Let's say someone was to put $10,000 in, you transfer that across to OCBC Bank with ourselves. We then do all the legwork. We make sure that it ends up via our trade platform. It's a full custody service that we offer. And then when you want to disinvest, we simply pull the money out and we send you back fiat currency. So we're cutting out all of those middlemen. We're cutting out all of the problems that you're going to have. We're sort of crystallizing profits. We do all that for you. Okay, volatility in the market. So there's undoubtedly going to be volatility. And I remember a fund manager from many years ago from I think it was IQS Fund. That one of their gambits was, we will lose you money if you invest in this fund. And it was a high risk fund. And they basically said that there are going to be points you look at this portfolio and it is going to be down, and it could be down significantly. So I want to point that out. There is going to be volatility in these markets. We will lose you money at certain points, but we will also make you good profit at certain points. And it's just how you look at when you want to crystallize profits is down to yourself, but also down to our manager. If we start seeing the crypto markets collapsing, we will try and pull out in time. This is what the manager's for. There are crypto coin that we can actually, that they mirror the USD. So we can pull out into a different coin that effectively pretty much runs one-to-one with the US dollar. So we do have that option. We have got the manager that should have his finger on the pulse to do that. Lack of time to research before purchasing. So, I mean, this is the same thing. I don't want to dwell on this. We have the crypto trader that's going to do that for you. The coin, how do you know it's legitimate and it's not going to collapse? Obviously, we can't guarantee it through and through that everything we invest in is going to go up. But the coin that we go into, we have a strict amount of coins that are via our regulated product that we can invest into. If we want to sign off on an additional coin, it has to run for a full peer review. So we need to go through the investment committee, through to the risk and ethics committee to even get the data read and then signed off for that additional coin. So it's not just the case of we're throwing a dart at this new coin and we're going to throw a bit of your money in. We do a full analysis of it. We internalize all that data. We then have to sign it off via our committees, and I'll run through that in a little bit of time. And it just ensures that there has been due diligence done on these coins, and we're not just going to go on a fly-by-night investment because it's too high risk. Is crypto here to stay? Yes. I mean, I think it's going to be extremely difficult for central banks to shut this down now. You're seeing regulators pick this up. It's become a bit of a beast that is going to get bigger and bigger over time. I think we will be talking in 10 years' time that this is part of most people's portfolios. So this is why we're saying it might be a good time now to consider putting a proportion of your portfolio in. Whether it be 5%, 10%, 20%, whatever you want to go and do, we can look at doing this with this end-to-end service. How do you sell your coins? So to sell the coins, it's easy. You effectively select to get rid of the coin. We will then crystallize everything, can get everything put through, and you'll get sent currency back to your bank account. Okay. So the launch of Abacus Carbono, it's, as far as we're aware, the world's first discretionary portfolio manager for cryptocurrencies. So when we started looking into this, it was actually Ana Isabel Gonzalez, who's one of our partners. She's got a PhD in economics, quantitative economics. And then we obviously have engaged Raul as well. So Raul has been handling high net worth money for a number of years. We were impressed with the returns that he's actually managed to secure for his clients. So we then looked at doing a partnership with himself, with ourselves, and we've branded that as Abacus Carbono. So Abacus is pretty much ran by Ana and Carbono from Raul, and this is all basically internalized with Farringdon. So with what we do with the investments, Raul is the guy that's got his finger on the pulse. He's the one that's doing the actual physical day-to-day trading. We're looking to roll this out, as you're all aware, to clients as we speak. We've already onboarded clients. And we are effectively looking to build this over the coming years. What I want to do next is run through the regulations around the world. These are just a few snippets. There's a lot more. There's Malta. There's other places as well. Malaysia, obviously, we're regulated via Labuan, and it's the platform that we've got is fully regulated under our fund manager's license. Switzerland are now they have a cryptocurrency exchange. Australia have an exchange, Japan have an exchange. These are just a few. We're starting to see this pop up all over the world. So the good thing that you're going to see is the more regulators across the globe that are going to regulate crypto, the more opportunity people are going to get, the more coins that are going to get released. And one of the main things is when you've got a regulator involved, love or hate them, they are there to do a job, and they are there to make sure that it's safe for investors to go in. So everything we've done on this is, it's a high risk proportion of your investment, but we are regulated, and we've made sure that everything is transparent with our platform, and we're looking to roll this out globally. Let me go through now how simple this is. I've missed out a couple of pages on the sign up because they're very simple, like a couple of clicks of buttons, but it's very much like our robo-advisor. You can literally click start now. I'm not going to dwell onto that. The website address is www.abacus.carbono.com. You go to that website, you click on start now. You then simply get asked for your email address, and you can set up your own password for that account. At the moment, we're only doing this for individuals. We have had some interest from corporates to start doing this, so we are currently working on that, and that will hopefully be launched at the start of next year. With regards to personal information, I think everyone online today is a client. So you've all gone through a standard KYC, source of wealth, and everything before. So it's relatively simple. You need to fill out your details. Please do ensure that anything with a star is filled out. A lot of people that have been signing up recently are putting in zeros for the tax code. You are then going to get pulled back from compliance and says, no, we actually need your tax code. So please do fill in all the information correctly. This is a regulated product. We're happy to onboard clients globally on this. Unfortunately, we can't do Americans or anyone in America. And there's some other parameters on certain countries as well, but we are going to require your tax codes, passport number, etc., etc. With regards to the personal information, this is more around about source of wealth and know your client. So we need to know how much you're looking to invest, how long you're investing for, a bit about your occupation, etc., etc. As I say, this is stuff that you guys have all done before, so relatively easy to answer. This is a very important one. So this is the bank info. This is where you're transferring the money from. So if you're going to send the money in from one of your banks, you need to input all the details here. If you decide to send from another bank, you're going to have to change these details because it will get rejected. So we need to ensure the bank info that you're going to be sending the cash from. This is standard KYC and source of wealth documents. You then upload your proof of passport and proof of address. So that will go on the file for your identity. The proof of address, it needs to be either a solid utility bill that doesn't include mobile phone bills or anything. It needs to be like an electricity bill or something like that. The easiest thing for everyone to do, because they're always in English, and as long as it's dated within the last 3 months, is just a bank statement. Don't worry, you can delete your balance if you don't want anyone to see that, but a bank statement is really easy, and most of us, if not all of us, have got online bank accounts now where we can literally download a statement. As long as it shows your address, your full name and your account number, we are good to go on the application. You'll then get an option to download the client agreement. So you click on the client agreement contract. You can then sign the client agreement, and then you can either email it to us or choose to upload the file. We are going to get this slightly improved, and we are going to, because we redesigned that, the website may look a little bit different in the next month or two. We're going to have the actual client agreement where you can just click on it and it's accepted. So we are working on that. That's just all in development. The main thing we wanted to do is roll this out, and then we're going to slowly add on user features and make it a little bit easier to sign up. Not that it's difficult to sign up, it's very easy to sign up. Once you've done this, it goes through to compliance. I mean, it's as simple as that. In all honesty, I mean, we've done sign-ups ourselves. I think when I did it, it was like 8 minutes to sign up. So it's as quick as that. It's not onerous to get this done, and it's very simple to get this done through to the end. You can then wait. You'll get this, so you understand the process. It will then go through to our compliance department. So our compliance department, he's the main guy is based out of the UK. Andy will be running through the compliance on that. From there, you will get either the approval or request for additional information or declined. As long as you've filled out all the boxes, as long as your bank account's been up and running over 2 years, you shouldn't have a problem. So you normally will get accepted within a day or two. From there, you'll be sent the details to transfer the money over to the account. The money goes over to OCBC. So we've chose a very good safe custody account. OCBC will then send that to our BitGo account, and then we can invest from there. Okay, so we use Kraken and BitGo, which I'll run through in a little while. Okay, so how safe is the investment? So we've used bank grade security procedures via the actual platforms that we use. So Kraken and BitGo are basically two of the biggest in the world. Kraken is a digital asset exchange holding over $4 billion US, and that's growing every year. It's got full auditors. I've actually noticed there's a couple of big four audit guys online today, which is great. These guys are fully audited. The clients are allowed to check their digital assets, so we're able to log in and see everything online, and there's proof of reserves and audits and all that done on these guys, so we've got access to that. BitGo is the leading custody provider for crypto assets, so the larger crypto like Ripple, etc., are using them. The custody solution is insured by Lloyd's, $100 million US. And effectively, these guys are one of the biggest in the industry, if not the biggest. So when we set this up, we used a good quality bank like OCBC, and then we've looked at the best platforms, which is Kraken and BitGo. We haven't gone in half-cocked on this. We've gone in, let's get the best of the best. Let's look at alleviating any issues for investors, and then we'll get this through done and as easy for you guys to get invested as possible. Now, these are some of the cryptocurrencies that were signed off. I think these are a couple of months old now, because this isn't the first time I've done this presentation. There have been a few more coins added. Again, every single one of these that are on there, you'll recognize a few of them. Most people will know Bitcoin and Ethereum. They're two of the biggest. There are a number of others that have gone through the due diligence process that we've added on. As I say, there's 20,000 coins out there. we're not just choosing small stuff. You can do some research on any of these. You'll see how big these things are. We're only going into high quality to make sure that the investments are as safe as possible. Okay, back on to what I mentioned earlier about the committees. So like with any, I mean, a lot of people that work with financial regulated firms will know this already, but those that you don't know around this, investment committees are pretty vital. Now, it says here we're meeting once a month. We're not. We're meeting every Monday. So we put in the business plan that we meet every month, but we're actually like 4 times that because there's stuff going on all the time. So on a Monday, we have our portfolio meeting followed by this specific crypto meeting. Any new coins, any new ideas come to the forefront there, and then we look at the research. Any new coins will need to go via the risk and ethics committee as well. A risk committee looks and sits annually. We're actually doing that more regular as well. Normally quarterly, we'll be doing the risk committee, and then the ethics committee as well. It's on a quarterly basis. So all of these things are put in there, and most people that understand regulations know that these type of things happen in the background. But those of you that don't, this is where we consider the new coin. We consider the risk in the markets. We look at sort of factors that are outside of our control and see if we're doing the right thing. These are, again, it's just to make sure that your money's as safe as possible with us. So what I sort of want to do next is I'm going to run through the way the investments work, but I'm also happy to field any questions that you guys might have. So there should be a Q&A section that you can actually type a question on. Now, if you ask a question I can't answer, I'll just skim over it and then I'll answer it via email, because you may ask questions that I need to get research or information off the traders from. So by all means, if anyone's got any questions, just ping them on the question, and then I'll try and answer them. If not, we'll finish after I've ran. We'll finish after we've sort of gone through how the investments work. So we've already had one question through, but let me run through the way Raoul handles this. So when we look at investments and Raoul buys into coin, he's looking at the trends in the markets. Now, this is like a DFM. We can buy individual things. We can also hold cash. We can do whatever we want with the money. So we're at the point where Raoul decides, right, he's going to put 20% in Bitcoin, 20% in Ethereum. He's going to put 30% in something else. He's actually going to be doing the buying and selling at any time. So when he's looking at going and investing into something, it's on the merit for a reason that he's run past the portfolio team. Okay, and then everyone's on board. If he wants to sell out of something, obviously he's got full discretion to sell if he sees the market's going down. Sometimes, I mean, I'll let you know as well that they're with markets when they move 20-30% in normal equities, you're going to try and hit the sell button. Crypto, that's not necessarily the case because they can move that in a day. So we need to trust Raoul to a certain extent that he's got a lot more experience than the average Joe and myself. And we just have to give him a bit of trust that, okay, we know the coins he's buying are good quality, but he needs to be the one doing the trading. And I'm not saying he's doing full-on volatility trading, but he's going to do some strategic moves that ensure that we get returns. So that's the way the actual setup works. Okay, so we've had one question on the targeted fund size. Now, good question. This isn't actually a fund. This is a platform approach. So when we're investing into this, you want to look at this as you're holding an amount. Let's say you put $100,000 in, your $100,000 is in the actual account. We could then buy and sell stuff within there. We're not looking, this isn't going to be a closed-ended fund or anything. It's actually your money's in our platform and it's operating. Now, we collect that data, we split it up via clients, and we report that back to you as your individual. So the good thing is you're not going to get charged silly amounts like on every trade and stuff like that, because we're pooling investments. So in all honesty on that question, I would love to say we could get this fund to $1 billion, but I think I might be overzealous there. I'm certainly looking at getting around about 10 million into this over the next 12 months. We are looking to get some very good media coverage as well. We're hoping, I mean, this is the world's first in what this is. So we are going to look to get this out there and try and get as much money in as possible. There's no negative or positive to the size of the fund. Your assets are separate. So we know we've segregated your assets. So if you invest in, it's not the fact that this fund could collapse. So you've got no issues on that. Your money's in that investment. The exchange is insured. You want to pull your money out, we pull the money out. There's not going to be a point that, let's say we get 10 million in this and then we get redemptions of 9.5 million. So our fund goes from, no, it's not a fund, but the platform goes from 10 million down to 500,000. There's no redemption problems there. We will just allow you to pull the money out. It might take 1 or 2 weeks for us to sell down and get the money out, but there's no real fund size or limitation on this. Okay, let's see the next couple of questions. Yes, so we've had another question on the fees and everything. So that's all in the client agreement. So they're very clear in the client agreement. Go through the fees when you get onto the website. There are performance fees on it. So we actually, there's platform fees that we've incorporated in, because normally when you go into a crypto, it's very expensive to get your wallet up and running. Then you go into the different platforms. So we've just looked at what the total fee is on that. We've translated that through as an annual fee, and then there is a performance fee. So we only earn off the performance fee. So we've got that on there. Steve, if you want to go on and have a look at that, just go to the client agreement. Everything's in there. I'm not going to remember them all off the top of my head, because but go into the client agreement and you'll see that. Right, okay, we've had another question on, are we going to get access to private placement or exclusive deals? Yes, we've already had some that have been offered to us. Now, the issue that we've got with this is we can get some good, because we're going to be managing a relatively large amount of money with this, and we are getting well into 6 figures into this every couple of weeks now, and I think that's going to run into 7 figures at least a month. We are going to be relatively powerful on the crypto market, but what we need to understand is we will get things offered to us, but we need to run through the due diligence. So what we won't do is we're not going to go and do an ICO with no backing or anything, but we are getting offered stuff that is interesting, let's just say. Again, we're only at the start of this, having a look, and we are getting offered this coin here, that coin there. But again, we need to run through full due diligence. So we haven't gone with any yet, but I'm not saying never. I think on the performance of this as well, so no one's asked the question yet, but what is the expected return on this? In all honesty, some of the months that I've seen RAL trade in the past, obviously we've only recently launched this, so it's too early to say, but I've seen the guy return 40% in some months. I'm not saying that's going to happen every time, but crypto can move that way. And we're with a guy that understands the markets better than, I would say, I would hope, anyone online today, including myself. So the return side of this could be very high. And I think the main way to run this, the way I would suggest to any client looking into this, is if you look to invest into this, I'm not saying you use it as play money, but I'm saying use it as money that you don't need as an emergency for something. So what I don't want to do is, someone's got 60 grand in the bank that they're going to get, they're looking at buying a house and they're willing to stick it in for a few months until they find that right house. That's not this type of investment. If you've got a portfolio worth, say, 100 grand and you want to put, or you've got a spare 10 grand in the bank, throw that in. I've already had clients that are worth multiple millions throwing 100, 200 grand into this type of investment. So I do think that's a good idea. And you know what? At the moment, the markets, the crypto markets have had a recent sell-off because a lot of the tech stock in the US have had a sell-off. Now, they're not always correlated, and they're still trying to work out how is crypto correlated to the standardized markets. I think you're going to look at, with the sell-off recently, for anyone getting in over the next few weeks while the tech sell-off is happening, you're going to get some good returns, because once they start pumping back up, you're going to see the crypto, because it's recent, sort of recently been moving in the same direction. So we think there will be a recovery eventually, and then you will see the recovery in crypto as well. So I think it is a good point to be looking at getting in. And what I would normally say to guys, because this is a higher risk investment, let's say someone throws in a couple of $100,000, I would say you definitely profit take through that. So if that 200,000 goes up to 300,000, which is entirely possible in a short amount of time, I would say pull out 100 grand and leave the initial 200 in.
Then you get the next opportunity to get some growth, and then you pull it out. But then you've got to be able to weather the storm as well. You might see crypto, you might put 200 grand in, and you might look one day and it's down to 140. You need to accept that volatility. That's just part of the crypto markets. No, he's not trading spot derivatives. On that was one of the other questions. Like we're buying the direct coin on this. Everything that we're doing is buying direct coin. We're not going to get involved in derivatives at any point on this investment. Sorry, I've just got to scroll down. Again, right, so a very good question there. So Steve's just asked, is this a pooled investment? Yes, it is, Steve. So we go in as a pooled investment. It's fully discretionary. So we are not able to bespoke a portfolio for an individual client. We are all going in as one. When you look to sell your coin, let's say you're holding 5 different coin, and let's say the fund size is 10 million and you've got $1 million in. If we then cash out $1 million, that means that we sell 10% of the whole portfolio across all coin. So you can't message in and say, I only want to sell XYZ coin. It is a pooled investment. I'm not saying that's never, but eventually we will get there. Okay. Yes, correct, Nick. That's correct on that one. Okay. Yeah, we're working on, so another question on, are we going to see the allocation? We're working on the development of the system every day. What we're hoping to do is you'll see everything that we've got and everything on there. At the moment, you're going to be seeing the value and where you've gone in. Eventually, with the more coin added, we're going to be having a look at showing you everything in there. Just like, I'll give you an example, on our robo-advisor, we'd show the top 10 holdings. We've got to be relatively careful on showing everyone everything, because we will get guys in the industry putting $5,000 just to strip out our strategy. So we've got to be careful with that. But I think with this, we can have a relatively good conversation with clients, especially with the larger ones, so we can explain the allocation. Everyone online today, you are current clients, so you already have airtime with our consultants or with myself. So the good thing is you can just pick up the phone and then we can explain exactly what we're holding, etc., etc. What we want to try and do is we want to start building this up as part of clients' portfolios. And what I would say for anyone online today, just tiptoe in to start with. Obviously, this is a new investment. Some of you guys that are online today have been clients for 8, 9, 10 years. So I'm hoping that the trust is already there. What I would suggest for guys that have got the trust, put in a reasonable amount of cash. For those of you that just want to try this out, throw in 5 or 10 grand just to see how it works. As I say, you could get this set up. You could sign up today in 10 minutes. You could be sending your money at the start of next week, and then you're invested, and then just see how it goes. Yes, it will be volatile, but you will have the opportunity to get some good returns as well. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it. The guys that have asked the questions, I will get the consultants to reach out and explain a bit more on that. I'll wait another few seconds to see if any more questions filter through, but you can always ask via the email account that's on screen. So fmu@fam-asset.com, or by all means, just ping me a question. Or you can obviously contact your direct consultant, because everyone's aware of what's going on in these investments. Right, so another good question from Steve. He's saying, will we have real-time access to the value of the investment? We're doing daily pricing, Steve. It's going to be extremely difficult to get second-by-second pricing, and it'll effectively cost too much to do. But we update the prices and back them up every single day. So your actual portfolio, we download the CSV file and that's uploaded. I know you're very clued up with this type of stuff. So the CSV file's uploaded every day, and the system's all automated. So you'll see daily pricing on all of that. In all honesty, when you're going to look, we can't. it's with the different time zones of all the different coins and everything, we need to sort of go by day trading. And when a client wants to sell out, it might take 1 or 2 days to get out. I mean, that's just I mean, same as a fund. You try and sell a fund, it's T2 to T3 to sell. So that's something that just takes a bit of time to get out of. Okay, we've had another question. Will we be distributing the recording? Yes, we will. So I'll after we finish this, I'm going to upload it to YouTube, and then anyone that's attended today, you'll be sent the web link. We're actually going to use this for other clients as well, because we've had a good amount of people sign on today. I think we've had almost well into double digits, but I really want to get this out to hundreds of clients. So, and the thing is as well, we've only had direct conversations with certain clients at the moment, guys that have already asked about crypto. And I think 80 or 90% of the guys we've spoke to have signed up for this, because the barrier to entry is so low. And because a lot of people don't look to get into crypto, because it is just that complicated thing. I wasn't invested into crypto. I'm opening my account up because I just haven't got the time to get up and go and invest into crypto individually. So I'm putting my trust in Raoul as well. Okay, I think that's pretty much it for today then. If you do get any more questions, obviously do email through to the FMU, or you've also got my email address, which is S for Stuart, Y for Yeoman, so sy@fam-asset.com, and I'll do my best to answer any questions that you may have. Okay, so one of the guys has just mentioned that he's just checked Raoul's profile, and he's looking into other cryptos. So Nick, the Raoul as a trader, he's very well known in the crypto space, and this is why I don't want to dwell on it too much, because if I only know him because I've specifically dealt in this industry now, and most people won't know him. Guys in the crypto space know Raoul. And yes, he does a lot of articles. He talks around a lot of this type of stuff. I know the one that you're talking about here. We are looking at stuff like this, but it's going to be a bit further down the line. The knowledge of Raoul as a trader is very high, and we will get stuff offered to us that may not be offered to other people. So I think get the cash in to start with, see how the guy does on the trades, and then we can move forward. And then what we'll do is we'll do regular updates. When we sign off on new coin and things like that, if you guys are interested, I can do a webinar on it, and we can actually get Raoul on talking around it. I just wanted to see the traction initially today to see if there's any. It seems like there's very good traction for guys. And then if there are any other questions, just ping me. I think we're going to end that for now. Thank you ever so much for tuning in. I will get the YouTube recording out via your consultants. Everyone stay safe and take care. Goodbye.